Hello students, today we will discuss the atomic models of atom. Basically, before we go through these atomic models, first of all we are to understand the meaning of atomic models. Basically, these atomic models give us about the arrangement of electrons, protons and neutrons in an atom. Since we know this that all the atoms are made by three fundamental particles, electrons, protons and neutrons. So how these particles are arranged in an atom, this arrangement is explained in the term of atomic models. Now, here we will start with the first atomic model that was proposed by J.J. Thomson, and this model is known as Thomson's atomic model. Till the time J.J. Thomson has proposed his model, till the time only electrons and protons were discovered and neutrons were not known till the time. So Thomson has explained only the arrangement of electrons and protons in an atom. And Thomson assumed the atom as the positively charged sphere, and in this positively charged sphere he gave the arrangement as these are randomly arranged particles. So this was the arrangement of electrons and protons according to Thomson. We can also compare this arrangement by a watermelon. Same as the in the watermelon, the red spongy eatable part represents the arrangement of protons in an atom, and as in watermelon, seeds are randomly distributed. Same as in this positively charged sphere, the arrangement of electron is in random form. We can also compare this with plum pudding. Same as such plums are randomly arranged in the pudding, same the electrons are randomly distributed or randomly arranged in this positively charged sphere. So since the Thomson atomic model has the same arrangement like watermelon, or in this model the arrangement of electron and proton shows the similarity with plum pudding, so the another name for this model is watermelon model, or this model is also known as plum pudding model. That are the another common name for this Thomson's atomic model. Now, if we count the merits and the demerits of this Thomson's atomic model, so this was the first proposed atomic model, and that is the major merit of this Thomson atomic model. The another one is, according to Thomson, we can explain the electrical neutrality of an atom. At the very first sight, we can find that the protons which are positively charged, which are going to form the positively charged sphere, it should be greater as compared to the number of electrons. But Thomson has said that in this atom, the number of protons or the total positive charge is equals to the number of electron or the total negative charge. And if the total positive charge is equals to the total negative charge, then it can explain the electrical neutrality of an atom. The second major merit for this Thomson atomic model is, when we go for the study of cathode ray experiment, that what are the phenomena are going on there, then this Thomson atomic model can explain the emission of electron from cathode in cathode ray tube experiment. If we say that electrons are randomly arranged in this positively charged sphere, then the chances of emission of these electron it increases, and when these electrons are emitted from cathode, then this is the reason of the emission of cathode ray from cathode ray tube. So the another major advantage or the another major merit of this Thomson atomic model is, it can explain the emission of electron from cathode in cathode ray tube. Now, if we talk about the demerits or the disadvantages of this Thomson atomic model is, then the very first and the major demerit, which was the reason of this discarding of this Thomson atomic model, is this model cannot explain the results of Rutherford's experiment. And this model and this demerit is responsible for what, that we have discarded this Thomson's atomic model and the new atomic model proposed by Rutherford, that is known as Rutherford's atomic model. So now we are to go through that what the model proposed by Rutherford. Since in the last Thomson atomic model we have seen that the Thomson atomic model was discarded because it cannot explain the results of Rutherford's experiment. So now we will start this Rutherford's atomic model with the Rutherford's experiment. Rutherford and his co-workers, they did his experiment on gold foil. He chose a very thin gold foil, and on this gold foil he bombarded some alpha particles. Basically, these alpha particles are no more different from the helium nuclei. The twice of positively charged helium particles are known as alpha particles. He bombarded some alpha particles on thin gold foil, and as the source of these alpha particles, he used a radioactive material which he kept in lead box. So from this lead box, he immersed out, he got alpha particle, and these alpha particles were passed through the very thin slit and when bombarded on the gold foil. So what the results were seen, that were known as the observations of Rutherford's experiment. Now, after the collision with this gold foil, where these alpha particles are going on, so to observe their behavior, we will cover this gold foil by a thin sheet, and this thin sheet is coated by zinc sulfide. Basically, the zinc sulfide is fluorescent substance, and whenever this alpha particle will collide with this, there will be the illuminance or there will be the light, and this light will tell us the behavior of alpha particle after getting collision. For his experiment, he used a very thin gold foil, and for his experiment he used very thin gold foil, and the diameter of this gold foil was approx 0.004 centimeter. So from his thin gold foil he tried to pass the alpha particle, and then he observed the behavior of alpha particle. What the behavior he found, that he noted as his observations. So now we are to study the observations of this Rutherford experiment. The very first observation was that when he passed alpha particle through this thin gold foil, most of the alpha particle were showing no any deflection and they went straight. So this was the observation shown by most of the alpha particle, that they didn't show any deflection and they went straight after the collision. The second observation was some alpha particle were showing some deflection, and the deflection angle was different in the case of different alpha particles. So there was some deflection, and deflection angle theta was going to vary. And the third one and the last observation for this was he found that one alpha particle, when he bombarded approx 20,000 alpha particle, then one out of these 20,000 it deflected with a deflection angle, and the deflection angle was 180 degree. Means one out of 20,000 this alpha particle was going to bounce back, means it was going to repeat its path. Now, these were the observations of Rutherford experiment. If on the basis of Thomson's atomic model we try to explain this, then according to Thomson, since Thomson has assumed the atom as the positively charged sphere, and whenever we collide alpha particles and whenever we bombard alpha particles through these positively charged sphere, then there will be a deflection between this positively charged alpha particle and this positively charged sphere, and due to the deflection there should be no any alpha particle like this which should go straight. But in his observation he was finding that most of the alpha particle were going straight. So this Thomson atomic model cannot explain the first observation of Rutherford's experiment. The second observation of Rutherford experiment was that some alpha particle was showing deflection, but the deflection angle was different. If I apply this on this Thomson atomic model, so according to Thomson, this positive charge is uniformly distributed throughout the sphere, And whenever this positively charged proton will have the collision with the positively charged alpha particle, then due to the same magnitude of repulsion, there should be the same angle of deflection. Means the deflection angle of theta should be same for each and every case. But in the Rutherford observation, or in the Rutherford experiment, this theta was going to vary. So this second observation was also not explained by the Thomson atomic model. If we talk about the third observation, then whenever we bombard this alpha particle on this atom, according to Thomson, there will be the collision between one proton and one alpha particle. Since alpha particle is 4 times heavier than the one proton, so it's never ever possible that by the collision this much heavier particle should bounce back. But in Rutherford experiment, he was getting the results like one alpha particle were going to bounce back, and that is not explained by Thomson's atomic model. So these three observations, what Rutherford found in his experiment, cannot be explained according to Thomson atomic model. And since these observations cannot be explained by Thomson atomic model, so that is the reason that why Thomson atomic model was discarded. Since it was only the assumption of Thomson, while Rutherford's observations were based on his experiment, so the Thomson atomic model was discarded, and on the basis of his observations, Rutherford proposed a new atomic model that is known as Rutherford's atomic model. So now we are to study about the Rutherford atomic model. According to Rutherford, the first observation was most of the alpha particles they went straight. So Rutherford assumed that since a large number of alpha particles they passed through the atom undeflected, so he assumed that the most of the part of an atom should be empty. And that was the very first postulate of its model, that the most of the part of an atom should be empty. The second postulate of this Rutherford atomic model is based on the second observation. Since he found that some of the alpha particles were getting deflected, so he assumed that there should be something positively charged in an atom which is responsible for the deflection of alpha particle, because this deflection is possible only in this condition when this positively charged alpha particle will come in the contact of some positively charged particle, and that is proton in an atom. So the second postulate of this model is something positively charged structure should be there in an atom. The third observation was, since he found that the alpha particle were going to deflect by the small angles, so he considered that the whole positive charge in an atom is concentrated in a very small place. And the fourth observation was also like this, that out of 20,000 only one alpha particle was showing the deflection, means and this is possible only in that condition when this alpha particle is going to collide with a very heavy mass. So he concluded that all the mass of an atom is concentrated at a very small place, and when this very small place, which has all the mass of an atom, has the collision with the alpha particle, this makes the alpha particle bounce back. So next he concluded that the mass of an atom is concentrated in a very small place, and this is very small volume where the total mass was considered as concentrated was termed as nucleus. So Rutherford was the first one who introduced the term nucleus, and according to Rutherford, now we can assume the structure of atom like the total mass or the total protons are concentrated at the center of an atom, which was termed as nucleus according to Rutherford, and these electrons, they revolve around the nucleus in their path. So now we can conclude according to Rutherford atomic model that total number of protons and neutrons, since they are responsible for the mass, so they are concentrated at the center of an atom, which was termed as nucleus according to Rutherford, and the negatively charged electrons, they revolve around this nucleus. So this is the structure, or this is the arrangement of electrons, protons and neutrons according to Rutherford. Now this Rutherford atomic model was soon discarded due to its some demerits. So now we are to see the demerits of Rutherford's atomic model. The very first demerit is, since this atomic model does not give any idea about the arrangement of electrons. If any atom has 20 electrons, so what will be the behavior, what will be the arrangement of these electrons in an atom, in what manner these will be arranged, or how many electrons will be closer or farther to the nucleus, this was not explained by Rutherford. So this is the first demerit, that the arrangement of electrons, it was not explained by Rutherford atomic model. The second demerit is, it cannot explain the results of Maxwell electromagnetic theory. According to Maxwell, whenever a charged particle accelerates, so if a charged particle accelerates around another charged particle, then there should be the emission of some radiation from the accelerated charged particle, and in this condition, due to the emission of some kind of radiation, this charged particle will lose its energy. This theory is known as Maxwell electromagnetic theory. Now, if we apply this Maxwell electromagnetic theory on the Rutherford's atomic model, so in this Rutherford atomic model, the center part is occupied by the positively charged protons and the neutral neutrons. And the electron, it keep on revolving around this positively charged proton. In this arrangement, electron is going to change its movement of direction continuously, means it's moving with the it's going to show a accelerated movement, and in this condition, if electron will show the accelerated movement, it will lose its energy due to the emission of some radiation. And if some radiations will be emitted, due to the emission of these radiation, now this electron will come closer to the nucleus, and finally it will come this much closer to the nucleus that it should fall down into the nucleus. And if this electron will fall down into the nucleus, now the atom should be unstable. But we all know that atom is stable. So this Rutherford atomic model cannot explain the stability of an atom. So this was the major demerit of this Rutherford atomic model, due to which the Rutherford atomic model was discarded. And soon the different atomic model is proposed by the different scientists, that is known as Bohr's atomic model. So now we will study about the Bohr's atomic model, but before this we are to see some merits of this Rutherford's atomic model. This Rutherford atomic model is also known as nuclear atomic model, because Rutherford was the first one who gave the idea about the nucleus, that the protons and the neutrons will be arranged in nucleus. Or the another name which is given for this Rutherford atomic model is, it is also known as planetary atomic model, because the arrangement of electrons and protons according to this model shows the same arrangement as the planets are arranged in the solar system. Such as in the solar system, these planets, they revolve around the sun in a path same as, according to Rutherford atomic model, these electrons, they continuously go for the revolving around the nucleus. But the difference is, in the planetary atomic model, these planets, they do not undergo any kind of radiation loss, while according to Rutherford atomic model, if we apply Maxwell electromagnetic theory on this, so these electrons will emit some kind of radiations from it, and due to the emission of radiation, it will fall down into the nucleus. So that is the demerit of this, and that was removed in Bohr's atomic model. But except this shows the same arrangement like the planets have in the solar system. So the another name for this model is planetary atomic model. Now we are to see the next atomic model, that is Bohr's atomic model.